employers do currently have a backlog with allocations and COS sponsorships. The reason for this is that since NMC changes, an increased number of nurses are all ready for deployment, all at the same time. Employers have to make sure that they balance the number of trainee nurses with qualified nurses in order to ensure that all overseas nurses get the mentorship and support that each requires. At this moment, we are looking at about 4 to 6 weeks maybe waiting time for allocations. This pandemic though has caused a delay of 3 months. So you just really need to be patient with the whole process.
Yes, you can always request for a specific location even before your COS has been assigned to you. However, we cannot guarantee that this request is always granted. Vacancies change from day to day, but employers always do consider nurses' requests, especially if the location requested is within the area where the nurse family or relatives or friends lives in. Employers would appreciate that overseas nurses have a place to stay in and be welcomed by none other than their own families or friends as soon as they arrive in the UK. As long as there is a vacancy for a pre-registered nurse in a particular care home or hospital that the nurse applicant requested, and for as long as the overseas nurse has a staff nurse or RGN to support the nurse through the induction period, it's very important. There's always likelihood that the request be granted by the employer. Employers shall also allocate you according to your skills and your experience so that you'll be working in a unit where you feel you will get the best training, support during your initial weeks of induction or training.
Are market related and employers follow the standard rate of pay for the nurses and pre-registered nurses for an area. Saying that, unfortunately, it's not negotiable.
Resident Labor Market Test, or the RLMT, requires UK employers to show UK visas and immigration that no settled worker is available for the role they wish to fill with a Tier 2 visa worker. The RLMT was designed as a protectionist measure to preserve and promote the settled UK workforce by requiring UK employers to exhaust options in the RLMT before recruiting nationals from outside the EEA or the European Economic Area.
The RLMT is done to prove to Home Office that there's no local nurses to fill their vacancies. Should a local nurse suitable for the position then apply for the job, unfortunately that vacancy does then not meet Home Office's requirements and therefore will not be available for an allocation option.
Your initial Skype interview was with the HR or unit manager of the employer group. During this interview, they ask clinical and personal questions. Based on your success, they will decide for which hospital or care home you will be suitable, and you will receive your provisional offer from the company. The company will then forward your CV and the interview notes to a certain hospital or care home for possible allocation. Some employers require the second interview by the manager of the care home or hospital, while others leave this to the manager to decide. This is an informal meeting with the ward, theatre or home manager, and they will ask work and personal related questions again. After the interview, they will confirm your allocation to head office.
Once you receive your allocation, you can confirm if you're happy with it or not. If not, you can give your desired allocation. But please do keep in mind, once you receive your COS, you won't be able to change your allocation. That brings me to the OSCE. Not all the care homes in the UK can provide OSCE support for pre-registered nurses. The allocations provided by the employer is the only homes that can support OSCE nurses. Once you receive your NMC decision letter, we will discuss the allocation preferences with the client based on the information that you provided. Once both are happy with the allocation, they will then assign the COS, which can take 3 to 4 weeks.
Firstly, we will require you to have your decision letter or NMC application completed under new NMC process. All your documents should be received by NMC. Next step for you to send your employment documents like ID documents, references, qualifications, application forms, etc. Our compliance team will send you the list of required documents in advance. Also, along with that, we will also require you to let us know your preference location. Our relocation team will try best to match your location and availability of vacancies in that particular location and finalize your allocation with the employer. Your employer will sort out your RLMT requirements for you. That can usually take 30 days to close. Once all your documents are received by the employer and that they are happy to go ahead, they will then probably assign your CS certificate and then you can get going with your visa.